So it's your first year in business, or you're in the horrible position that leads have just dried up. I'm going to share with you the 7 prospecting tools you need to use to grow your business. I've got to warn you, it's going to be a lot of legwork. You're going to have to do a lot of activity. You're going to have to go above and beyond what you normally do to overcome inertia. You're just kind of sitting in place and you've got to move quickly. You've got to get this whole mentality, your body, your everything going fast. I want you to do all 7 of these at the same time. Normally, I tell you to just focus on one thing, but this time, because we need fast action, we need, as Tony Robbins says, massive action. So let's take massive action into this video. The first place to start prospecting is FFA. Your family, friends, and acquaintances. Go to the people that already know, like, and trust you. Well, hopefully they trust you. And ask them if they know anyone or if they are someone who's in need of your new service. You're starting your agency or you're a freelancer or solopreneur and you need business. So you just go out and tell people, hey, this is what I'm doing. And so your family may know other people that they work with and they introduce you. You get an introduction. Or your friends. Yeah, you probably don't want to work with your friends, but some of your friends might be worth working with, but they probably know somebody in their network, in their FFA, that can work with you. Now your acquaintances, they kind of know you. You kind of know them. You kind of like each other. You're not friends, you don't spend any real time together, but you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm launching this new business. Do you or somebody you know have a need for what I provide? All I'm wanting to do is have a conversation. You're not trying to pitch anything. You want to make sure you keep all the pressure off and just say, hey, can you make an introduction for me? Just to have a conversation about what I might be able to do for you or someone you know. The next prospecting tool you have available is canvassing. You can do cold canvassing. It works. It takes a long time. It is hard. You get a lot of rejection. Doing anything cold, you're going to get a lot of rejection. If you focus on people who have a connection with you, then you're going to have an easier time starting a conversation. I didn't say an easier time selling, you're just going to have an easier time starting that conversation. So you can go to this network. Maybe they're in the Chamber of Commerce and you just joined it. Maybe you're in Kiwanis, or maybe you're in some other social group, or you're in a religious organization, a church, a synagogue. Your connection can be pretty loose. But it's just, hey, we go to the same church, or we're in the same denomination, or you're in Kiwanis over in that area, I'm in Kiwanis in this area, or you're in a Chamber of Commerce in that town, I'm in the Chamber of Commerce in this town. It can be that loose, but the affinity is just there to allow you to start the conversation to say, hey, do you know someone who needs these services? Because I'm launching this business. And that can get us into the prospecting tool number 3, which is the case study discount. I did a whole video on this topic, so I'm not going to go into depth on this, but the idea is you do free work for particular prospects that have the ability to make a name for you. So if you do a case study with them, other people in your affinity network will say, oh, you did work for that person. We want you to do work for us. You don't want to just do free work for anyone and get any kind of case study because, well, it may not actually benefit you. You got a little bit of work for your portfolio, you got something to show, maybe a little case study, but if people don't say, man, you worked with that company, or you worked with so-and-so, the entrepreneur, that's fantastic. I'm interested in what you did. So what you do is you're using the case study to be able to make a name for yourself. It's a transfer of authority. Some other company or person has more authority than you do, obviously, but they have authority with your target market. And that's where doing free work for them can actually get you in the door, get people to want to have a conversation with you. The fourth prospecting tool is the strategic alliance. This one's a little hard to do when you're just getting started. You're going to have demonstrable, I don't know how you say it. You have to be able to show your work. You have to be able to show you have expertise so that someone will trust you with their customers. Think of it this way. Like Grant Cardone says, who's got my money? In this case, who's got my clients? Because my clients, they got my money. I just need to know who's got my clients. And then I'm going to go out there and work a deal with these people. The deal might be a referral fee. Probably, it's the most common. They send you prospects, you close them, and then you send that strategic alliance partner a check. Fantastic. But get creative. Don't just do a referral fee. Do things like content. Give them free content. If they've got a blog, they've got a podcast, they've got some sort of media that they're putting out, provide them with unique, original content that is valuable to their audience and to their customers. This is a powerful way to not have to give a referral fee, but you may still end up doing that. But you're able to give them this, demonstrate authority, because now you're in a position where you're on someone else's platform. This elevates you from being just anybody. So when you reach out to their customers, they'll go, oh, I read that blog post. I read you in their newsletter. I saw you on their YouTube channel. I heard you on their podcast. They will understand that you are providing value. You've already been elevated in their mind, and it makes your strategic alliance partner look really good for their customers. I've done this not just with content. I've provided loads of content, but I've also provided that content in the form of training. I've done webinars and workshops. This was a great way to get very interested prospects into a room or on a webinar who were interested in the topic, and then be able to transfer them over into the buying process. Speaking of content and training, the fifth prospecting tool you should use is becoming a LinkedIn leader. This is something I'm working on right now, and I'm studying it and participating in it, and it's really interesting to be able to generate leads from demonstrating your expertise and your authority. But I'm not going to use me as an example. I've been in business for over 2 decades, so I've got loads of content and I've already established some authority. So I've got maybe an edge on you in LinkedIn, but I had my daughter do it. My daughter's starting her career. She was moving to Australia. She needed a way to get a job. She didn't want to start a business. She wanted to get a job. I had her do what I'm doing, augmenting reality. You take what is happening in your life and you amplify it on LinkedIn. So you optimize your profile, you optimize your job experience listings to highlight the things you want people to buy from you. So if you had some job that wasn't really what you do now, but you learned a few things related to what you're doing, highlight those things and don't highlight any of the other things you did in that job. Then you start creating content, simple how-to content. What my daughter did was she used to work for me. So she highlighted stuff that she learned about social media marketing and social media content creation that she learned while working for me. She also highlighted some of the work that she learned at her 2 previous jobs. One was an international tax company that the entire team was remote and they did a lot of internet marketing. And her first job was managing an e-commerce store for one of my friends. These were things that taught her a lot about internet marketing, a lot about content marketing, and she took elements of what she did in those jobs, highlighted them as training for people on LinkedIn. And the best part was she started getting inquiries. People started reaching out to her and saying, hey, would you like to have a job at my company? She got asked by a couple of digital marketing agencies. She got asked by someone who was running a health and fitness business. And within just a few weeks, she landed a job as a brand evangelist from a connection that she had on LinkedIn. This goes to show that you don't need a lot of work experience. You just need to highlight the expertise, the knowledge that you currently have. Don't lie. I told my daughter, don't exaggerate what you are able to do. Just share, just highlight the things that you do know. Because when you do this out on LinkedIn, you'll find a lot of people don't know even the simplest things that you know. The sixth prospecting tool that you should be using is what I call Upwork Unlimited. It's not just Upwork, any kind of online job board, but Upwork seems to be the largest. I think it is the largest online job board in the world. So you can go on there and guess what? There's jobs everywhere. There's people asking for someone to do something for them. Sometimes it's just a tiny project. Sometimes it's ongoing work. Sometimes it's a big project. But the best part is it's an actual paying gig. If you take the idea of augmented reality and you're going to highlight, you're going to amplify the things that you do from any of the jobs that you get on Upwork. So it may not be an amazing job, it may not even be a long job, it may just be a short project, but you amplify that. You showcase in training and content on LinkedIn and other places the things that you did and the results that it got for your client. And you can then turn that into more business. So the cool thing is you could probably get your first 10 to 12 client stack right out of Upwork. You wouldn't even have to do any of the other things, but you would still need to showcase that you're an expert. You need to find a way to highlight that. And so that means you need to optimize your profile on Upwork. You got to remember, you're competing with hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of other people on Upwork and other online job boards. So your profile is your sales letter. You've got to really craft that to market you. And if you've ever placed a job on Upwork, you know that most of those people have terrible profiles. But hey, you're a marketer, an advertiser. You should be able to do message to market match. You should be able to target the types of jobs that fit with what you're trying to do with your business. So craft your profile, and any jobs that you're applying to, you craft the message to be very specific, to be niche. You need to let them know your specialty is what they need solved. Here's a pro tip. Make sure that you have a portfolio clause in your agreement with every client on Upwork. Sure, most people are going to be cool with you showing that you did work for them on Upwork, but what you need is a specific clause that says that you're going to use any of the work that you've created for them as promotional material for yourself. You're going to put it on your website as promotional material. You're going to create case studies. You're going to make sure that you let them know that you are going to retain the right to share what you did, because you need to augment your reality. You need to go back to LinkedIn and show people that you know what you're doing. And if you don't do this, then you're just getting paid a small amount of money for these clients on Upwork, and it's just not going to be worth it in the long term. The seventh and final prospecting tool I want you to use is referrals. The reason referrals is number 7 is you've got to take a lot of action just to be able to get a referral. You got to be talking to a lot of people to get an opportunity to ask for referrals. You know, starting with friends, family, and acquaintances. Those are your first referrals, and then you keep moving along. And the more people you talk to, the more referral opportunities you're going to have. A lot of people only want to get a referral after they've done great work for somebody. It's like, oh, that's the best time to do it. No, the best time to get a referral is anytime you're talking to a prospect or a client. So if you're talking to a prospect and they say no, ask for referrals. Ask for 3 to 5 people that they think might be a fit, because they just sat through your pitch, so they have an idea of what you do, and they may be thinking, oh, I do know of somebody who could use this. And you could get sent over to them, and then you can say, hey, John told me to come and talk to you because he thought you might have a need for what I do. And then you get an opportunity again to ask for referrals, because that person either becomes a client or they say no, and you get a chance to ask for referrals again. The next is when they say, yes, I want to be a client. That is the perfect time, because they're in a state of positivity. They're in a state of optimism because they just said yes. So this is a great time to take advantage of that positivity and optimism and say, hey, my business is built on referrals. Do you know of 3 to 5 people who might have a need for this service, and help them come up with names? A lot of times they'll immediately just say no because, well, one, they're afraid to give referrals, especially right up front. But if you work with them like, hey, this is really important for me to be a success. If I'm still in business, I can do better work for you because, well, I'm in business. So the more I grow, the better I'm able to serve you. And, well, you're a great person. You're going to be a great client. You're a great fit for my company. So that means you know other people who are like you, who are good and would be a good fit for my company. Asking for a referral from a client who came from a referral is even more powerful because they're going to understand it. They're going to have like a deeper connection, sort of pay it forward, which is weird because they're going to pay you money, but they'll still pay it forward because someone else referred them to something that became successful for them, a successful outcome. They now have someone who can serve their needs. So they're going to pay that forward, and they'll give you 3, 5, 7, 10 different people that you could potentially talk to that could be clients for you. That's how powerful asking for referrals are. You can't just sit back and wait for someone to give you a referral. You have to be very proactive. You have to overcome that fear of rejection. You've got to overcome any awkwardness that you feel and just ask them. And even help them come up with names and take out a pen, paper, and actually write those things down. Always ask for referrals. Doesn't matter if they decide not to use you. Doesn't matter if they're not even a prospect. Ask people to send you someone else. Go to other people. Get the referral. If you put all your effort into this type of prospecting, you will land your first 10 to 12 client stack. You will have the people that are going to launch your business, and it won't take forever. It might take you a month, 2 months, 3 months. It took my daughter just 3 weeks to achieve this, but it might take you a bit longer to land that first gig or to get hired. Each of these tools works. Doing all 7 of them in the order in which I've outlined them works powerfully. So do a powerful like, subscribe, and share. Comment below, ask me questions on how to use these 7 tools, and then do all the socials, and I'll see you in the next video.